It's Friday, September 18th. Let's talk PlayStation. Alright, so, if you didn't notice, Sony had a little conference this past week. Usually, I'll always do a video, right after their conference, doing a little recap and then an impressions. Of course, I didn't do that. Basically, I had work, these things happen, so. But, we always got Let's Talk PlayStation. I never miss these, so, now we're gonna go over their conference a little bit, and we'll do a quick recap and everything, and go over some highlights of their show. So, let's jump right into the recap. So, they kicked it off announcing some new Vita colors, very colorful looking stuff. We, of course, know the Aqua Blue one is coming to the US. Bloodborne The Old Hunters release date, November 24th, 2015. Of course, Bloodborne The Old Hunters, a new DLC for Bloodborne. Mina No Golf announced for 2016, PlayStation 4. Basically Hot Shots. Uncharted 4, global worldwide launch. Kind of talked about that a little bit. Gravity Days for PlayStation 4, coming December 10th. So, of course, Gravity Days, Gravity Rush, originally on PlayStation Vita, and we kind of already knew this game was coming to PlayStation 4. Then announced Gravity Days 2 for PlayStation 4 in 2016. Kind of surprising that, well, not really surprising that they moved it to PlayStation 4 more or less for the sequel. I'm just glad that we, actually heard about this thing. Because last time we heard about this was like a very long time ago and nobody really knew what was going on there. Yakuza Remake, February 21st, 2016, PS3, PS4. Includes a demo for Yakuza 6, so Yakuza 6 coming to PS4, fall 2016. King of Fighters 14, shown off. One Piece, Burning Blood for PS4 and Vita. Gundam Extreme V's Force for Vita, 5's Force. Tukiden Kiwami 2, 2016 for that. Nioa, you can keep in mind with pronunciations, I'm terrible with them, for PlayStation 4, 2016, Star Ocean 5, February 25th, 2016, Saga Scarlet Grace for PlayStation Vita, 2016, Kingdom Hearts HD, 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue for PlayStation 4, that was shown off a little bit, cool stuff there. Setsuna, PS4 and Vita in 2016. Biohazard Umbrella Corps 2016. Exist Archive, December 17th, 2015. 13 Sentinels for PlayStation 4 and Vita. Danganronpa 3 for PlayStation 4 and Vita. Dragon Quest Builders, January 28th, 2016. New HDD plates and new colors for the DualShock 4. This actually looks pretty cool. So there's a bunch of new colors for the hard drive bay on the PlayStation 4. We know that Sony's been offering a couple of custom plates, and now they're just offering more, and some more DualShock colors, which we do know that some of these are going to be coming West Side as well. So you got to keep in mind watching TGS. It is going to be specific to Japan for a lot of this stuff. But you can't expect like this gold one and silver controllers come over, and the plates are, they're okay or whatever. So one of the big things, Morpheus's official name has been changed to PlayStation VR, so kind of underwhelming there. We were kind of expecting some kind of cooler product name in a sense, but I guess this thing is going to straight up launch as PlayStation VR. But straightforward and to the point, I guess. Final Fantasy 14 is getting virtual reality support, so PlayStation VR is on board for that. And an official price drop in Japan. So the system is now down to 34,980 yen, which is about a $50 price cut for Japan. And that's basically it. Very good show. The thing is that TGS is not over, so we're certainly going to see more stuff coming out of it. It's going on right now, so there's definitely going to be some more announcements coming out. So keep in mind when you're watching this, what I'm saying right now is probably not even going to be super relevant because we might have more to talk about. So overall, pretty good show. I mean, the price drop for PlayStation 4 is not entirely surprising for Japan because, while the PlayStation 4 is certainly doing okay in Japan, it could be doing a lot better, and I'm sure Sony wants to get a better foothold in that region, which is their home region. So, kind of makes sense they're reducing the price a little bit, try and get that system out to a few more households out there, and of course, just being more Japanese specific in that market and showing off a lot of more compelling games for it. It's nice that TGS always sort of accommodates West Side viewers as well, so we are seeing a lot of stuff that is getting announced for us as well, and the Vita colors, we know that one of the colors is coming over that was announced before TGS. We know some of these controllers are coming over. We know Sony's already commented on the fact that Gravity Days 2, that's of course coming to the West as well. So it's always nice to have some good balance there with TGS, which is that more often than not, I mean, a lot of the west side of the world is watching it more often than the actual people that it's accommodating for, which is, you know, Japan. So, but it was a very good show. I enjoyed it. So now let's talk about some news stories that kind of happened outside of TGS, because there have been some things that have been going on. So this one's pretty interesting. So some PlayStation 2 games have been rated in Europe for the PlayStation 4. Yes, some PlayStation 2 classics. So Dark Cloud 2, Twisted Metal Black, and Ape Escape 2 were rated for the PlayStation 4, which kind of tells you, hey, PlayStation 2 classics are probably making their way to PlayStation 4 more or less. Which is great. You know, we talked about this in a few recent videos, which is, you know, what Sony kind of wants to do in terms of, like, you know, PlayStation Now, and if they're gonna, you know, allow PlayStation 2 classics on the PS4, how they're going to expand sort of their legacy PlayStation titles and kind of make their you know, PlayStation Store a bit more consistent across all platforms and things like that. Because, you know, you go to the PS3 PlayStation Store and there's all these different games that are only playable on certain platforms. You go to PS4 and there's mostly, like, strictly PlayStation 4 content, and there's no file management on PS4 in terms of, you know, trying to transfer files to Vita and things like that. Like, it's all disjointed. We've talked about it before, but I like to see that they're bringing PlayStation 2 classics. All right, moving on. Facebook is getting kind of, like, not supported anymore on PlayStation. So basically on PlayStation TV, PlayStation Vita, and PlayStation 3, Facebook support's pretty much going to be cut off. So, you know, on, like, PS3, you can set it with your Facebook so that every time you earn a trophy, you can post it to your wall or something like that. That's going to basically see support in 2016. Same with Vita TV, and the, you know, regular Vita, the Facebook app's not going to be working anymore. They're, like, dropping support for that as well. So, I mean, you know, whatever. I'm sure this is going to upset a small amount of people, but I don't think it's really a big deal. They are saying, though, that with PlayStation 4, they're pretty much that's going to be unchanged, which is pretty obvious because that's their recent console and they have this huge share thing and stuff like that, and sharing gameplay and all that. It's kind of self-explanatory. Not a huge news story, but it's like, oh, sorry, you can't tell all your friends how cool you are that you earned a platinum trophy. Now for the next one, this one's being posted everywhere because this one was, like, pretty set in stone, which is that Naughty Dog kind of also inexplicably announced The Last of Us 2 in a very indirect way. So basically during a live stream where they were discussing Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection, one of the writers, John Shear, basically commented about how there's only a first Last of Us game. So basically he was quoted as saying, all the facial animation in the Uncharted series was led up by Eric here. And then he goes on to say, and the first Last of Us. Did I just say the first Last of Us? And then he kind of, like, stumbles and trips over his words because he just realized that he said the first Last of Us in a very specific manner, implying that there is a second Last of Us. And here's the thing, like, we've talked about this a few times now. Kind of, like, you know, we kind of picked up on the fact that there's probably a Last of Us 2. I mean, there's been tons of sort of rumors and news stories and things that we've discussed already. And The Last of Us is a huge, absolute success. It won how many awards, sold extremely well, is regarded as one of the best video games ever made by many people, has a huge following. People love that game. Kind of, like, clear that they are working on The Last of Us 2. Or at the very least, experimenting with it, right? I mean, even if they don't end up releasing it, I guarantee you, in some capacity, they are looking into a Last of Us 2. But it seems like it's definitely kind of moving forward in a sense where a second Last of Us is going to be a real sort of reality. So after Uncharted 4, we're likely to see that as their next game. Anyway, guys, those are just some of the news stories I want to talk about with you guys this week. As I mentioned, TGS is still going on. We're probably going to get some more news stories, so of course we will cover it up in next week's LTPS. This week's episode of Brian on Gaming was our video games announced too early. You know, a lot of times games will get announced and it seems like we're waiting 3, 4, 5, 7, 20,000 plus years for a video game. So that's the discussion, you know, what goes on there, why it happens, things like that, when should they be announced. Really good discussion. Also, Jack 2 Part 9 is up. That's still rolling along. It's going really, really well. We're killing some metalheads. We're running away from the I was about to say the Hellgas instead of Crimson Guards. Oh my god, that's all that's up here, man. It's PlayStation. Half the time when I'm recording these things, I get it so mixed up sometimes. I mean, I could kill a Hellgas, it's just not going to be in Jack 2. Alright, I'm going to go edit this thing and then go to bed. So, that concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Ryan Benecki. Thank you all so much for talking with me, and I'll see you guys next Friday.